And joining us tonight for tonight's big close-up is DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin. Tricia, thank you so much for joining us tonight and for everything that you do and communicating all this important stuff to the American people. So we know that we have a variety of these ICE tracking apps. Now, it's my understanding that a lot of these app stores decided that those were pretty inappropriate and dangerous, and a lot of those app stores decided to pull off those ICE tracking apps. But then you have Democrats saying that, well, we're just still going to track ICE agents. You've got Gavin Newsom there on his 20th podcast this week saying that he doesn't want ICE agents or federal agents to wear masks except for COVID. He wants them to show their ID except to vote. What does this mean for ICE agents, and what have you heard from your agents about how this could possibly endanger them or their family members?
Well, I think Todd Lyons, the acting director of ICE, put it best when he said that these ICE trackers are really like giving a hitman a map. And that's exactly what's going on here. And these Democrats that are pushing for the use of their own maps, they're either encouraging criminal illegal aliens to evade or arrest, or worse, they're encouraging violence and, God forbid, the killing of our law enforcement, who are already seeing a 1,000% increase in assaults against them. But let's keep in mind, Tommy, what's going on with our law enforcement. They're being doxxed. Their family, where they go to school, where their children live, where their children, where their spouses work, that's being doxxed on the deep, dark web. This is really horrendous violence that's going on, and these Democrat politicians continue to encourage it, incite it, and give really a permission slip to these lunatics who go after our law enforcement. We just saw a couple weeks ago out of Dallas a terrorist attack where the deranged individual there, he put anti-ICE messages on the shell casings and also left behind handwritten notes that said that he wanted to bring the ultimate annihilation to ICE. This is what our law enforcement's facing. That is why they wear those masks, to protect themselves.
Tricia, an illegal alien truck driver, this is a story that just keeps coming up, something like this. He crossed the border under the Biden administration in California. He was arrested, but then he was set free, I think, in 2022. He allegedly was driving under the influence when he crashed his truck, and he killed 3 people. Now, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is taking action against California for giving these licenses to illegals. Check it out.
That's what California has done. They have unlawfully issued 60,000 of these licenses to people who have come into the country, and they've done it illegally. So you have 60,000 people on the roads who shouldn't have licenses. So one, I'm about to pull $160 million from California. And as we pull more money, we also have the option of pulling California's ability to issue commercial driver's licenses.
Yeah, like I said, this isn't the only time this has happened. It's happened. We see it more often, it seems like. At least 3 that I can think of in the last couple of weeks. At least 19 states, along with D.C., allow illegal aliens to obtain a driver's license. And then you have states like California that build on that by issuing CDLs to them. So here's my question to you. Is there any database that would allow DHS to look for there's this rule that even the DOT has about non-domicile CDLs. Is there any way to cross-reference and go after these individuals? Maybe they haven't done anything other than drive a truck, but I feel like if there are people out there who, and the other rule that DOT is enforcing is the English proficiency rule, is there no way to go and pinpoint and strategically pull these people off the road preemptively? Do they have to kill somebody crossing 5 lanes of traffic or drunk driving before we can even identify them?
Joey, you're exactly right, and that's exactly what we're doing under Secretary Noem with the partnership of the Department of Transportation. Secretary Duffy's been incredibly proactive on this issue, and he's been a great partner. You're exactly right. We're seeing more and more of this. It was just 3 months ago that we saw out of Florida an individual, also an Indian national, who had illegally entered the country and gotten work authorization under the Biden administration. He went on to kill 3 people. He also got that commercial driver's license from the state of California. And then, of course, of course, then this issue just a few days ago, what we're seeing is that California again issued this commercial driver's license to another Indian national. This individual was intoxicated, driving under the influence, and killed 3 innocent souls. We're praying for those families, but we're going to do more than pray. We're also going to take action and prevent this from ever happening again. And Secretary Duffy, I think he's going to have more information and more announcements to come shortly, hopefully this week.
Tricia, great to see you. Lisa Booth here. I want to talk about the Maryland man who's from El Salvador. The Trump administration is looking to deport MS-13 gang member Kilmar Abrego Garcia to Liberia, and it could happen as soon as the end of this month after reaching an agreement with the country on Friday. Liberia. There we go. Tricia, why is it so hard to deport an illegal alien with ties to MS-13 who's here illegally, obviously, and has been credibly accused of human smuggling?
Well, it's these activist judges who, time and time again, were preventing this criminal illegal alien from being deported for a second time. But let's also remember, who is Kilmar Abrego Garcia? He was indicted by a grand jury. He's an MS-13 gang member. He was a full-time human trafficker. And if you read the indictment, it's quite egregious what he was involved in, abusing the women under his control. He was soliciting child pornography. This is a despicable individual who, we won't forget, the media tried to force-feed Americans that this is some innocent Maryland father when he's anything but. He will have a new life in Liberia. We're glad to see him go, and that's looking like that will be occurring this week.
Also a spousal abuser as well, on top of everything else that you just mentioned. Tricia,
Yes.
It's Guy Benson. I want to ask you about something else. The New York Times reporting that the White House is potentially planning to make some changes at the high reaches of ICE and replace several senior leaders across the country to speed up deportations. President Trump, Stephen Miller, reportedly not satisfied with that pace of daily arrest. Now, you told the Times in that story that there hadn't been any such shakeup yet. That was as of Friday. Any update for us there?
No changes to announce at this time, but Guy, I will say the Trump administration, Department of Homeland Security, we're all about results. At this point, we've arrested and deported about 500,000 illegal aliens from this country, and 1.6 million illegal aliens have self-deported. But we have a lot more work to do. We want to really surge those arrest numbers, especially given that one big, beautiful bill that we've received the funding to do it. I think we're going to be making great progress. We've have 175,000 applications to ICE, so we can really surge our workforce and get more brave men and women on the ground to do this great work. But I do have to say, I think what Secretary Noem and President Trump have been able to do is really nothing short of extraordinary. Our law enforcement has faced demonizations, the injunctions from these activist judges, these sanctuary city politicians trying to prevent us time and time again. We're not giving an inch, and we will deliver on the mandate for the American people.
Tricia, just very quickly to follow up, did I hear you correctly that between deportations and self-deportations, it's over 2 million illegal immigrants out of the country over the Trump administration thus far?
That's right, in just over 270 days. Wow.
Real quick on that topic, this idea that has circulated kind of conversationally that President Trump ordered both to get the worst out first, but also has been pushing really hard to get the overall numbers up. Been in office now for months. Has that process gotten tightened and gotten better? Are you able to both get the numbers up and go after the worst? Is it cross-communication among departments? Has anything held that up? Where is the state of that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're looking also at an agency who was completely dilapidated for the last 4 years. People were working from home who should have been out on the streets arresting individuals. So it was really getting that agency back up and running. Our law enforcement had been hamstrung for 4 years. So that's part A. But then part B, closing that border. We now have Border Patrol agents who are actually making arrests in the interior of our country. You're seeing that out of Los Angeles. You're seeing that out of Chicago. And now we're getting an even greater workforce. So I think you're going to be seeing more surges in arrests as well.
Tricia McLaughlin, thank you so much for joining us tonight. God bless.
Thank you so much for having me. God bless you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.